Imagine a woman called Rachel who works in a coffee shop as a waitress. For those of you that lived in the 90s, this will probably bring up the image of a particular person. Now, most waitresses in this coffee shop make around $1,100 a month, but the very blonde boss of this particular coffee shop kind of fancies our Rachel, so gives her a paycheck of $1,200 every month. Now, Rachel lives with her friend Monica, and as it's Monica's apartment, Rachel pays rent of $400 a month. Her other essential spending comes to around $300. So rent plus essentials totals $700. Rachel tries really hard to keep her other spending under control. I mean, she tries really hard. And that's not easy, because Rachel comes from a very well-off family, and she's been used to her dad paying off her credit cards throughout her life. But still, Rachel tries hard. She tries really hard. She really wants to work in retail, because that's where her passion lies, and well, it pays more than the coffee shop job. But at the moment, she just doesn't have the time to retrain. Rachel really does want to get on in life and build a financial future for herself. But the problem is, she just really doesn't know how. As I said before, she really tries hard to keep her spending under control, but often gets carried away and ends up with around $100 a month to put towards her financial future, towards her savings and investments. Now there's another person in this story, and that person is Rachel and Monica's other friend, Phoebe, and she has a not so steady job as a musician. Phoebe's income is variable, but more often than not, she also brings in $1,200 a month. Phoebe's rent and essentials also come up to $700 a month, but the makeup is slightly different. Whilst Phoebe's rent is much more expensive at $550 a month, mostly because she lives by herself, her frugal beginnings means that she is able to keep her essentials under better control, and she only spends another $150 a month on essentials. That rounds up to $700. It's after this point that Phoebe does something different. Phoebe also wants to build her financial future, but unlike Rachel, she has a plan of sorts. In another life, she could have been a stockbroker. Anyway, I digress. Phoebe knows that she has to save and invest $250 per month out of her earnings to put towards her future, to build herself a solid financial base. So she allocates that $250 every month to her regular investment portfolio. This investment portfolio is made up of index funds which are low on costs and track the market. She relies on the fact that companies and executives of those companies are capitalists by definition and will just naturally drive for higher growth and higher profits. So she figures, why not join all of them on that journey? She just wants to own a piece of everyone in the market. Now, just like Rachel, Phoebe also wants to keep her spending under control. But unlike Rachel, she is forced to do this, because after paying for her rent, her essentials, and herself through her investment portfolio, she is left with $250 a month for other spending. It's amazing what you can do and make do with once you're forced to. And in this case, Phoebe does rather well. Rachel spends and then invests what is left. She pays others and then pays herself and her investment portfolio. Phoebe, on the other hand, invests first and spends what is left. She decides to pay herself first and then pay other things. She pays herself first, her investment portfolio first, and then pays for other things. Because of this simple reframing, this simple reordering, this simple reprioritization, Phoebe is able to save more than double what Rachel is able to do. This happens because Phoebe made a decision. My recommendation would be for Rachel to pivot. Rachel really needs to take a break. No, not from her boyfriend, from the current way she manages her finances. Rachel could really do with pausing, reflecting, and then understanding how Phoebe works her financial magic, and then come up with an approach that works for herself, for her own life. Now, of course, Rachel also has to contend with neighbors that keep on coming to her apartment all the time and raiding her fridge, and that's a problem Phoebe doesn't really have. So whilst she can learn from how Phoebe manages her money, Rachel's approach, for example, how much she wants to put away every month, how much she wants to pay herself every month towards her investment portfolio, needs to match Rachel's ambitions, her life, her way of doing things. But what is clearer is at the moment, Rachel is being left behind, financially at least. Let's just see those numbers again from earlier. Phoebe is able to save and invest $3,000 a year, compared to Rachel, who is able to save and invest just $1,200 a year. And it's all about paying yourself first. Those numbers again in percentage terms, Phoebe is able to save and invest over 20% of her income, and Rachel just able to invest a little over 8% of her income. This is what it means to pay yourself first. This is what it means to be able to deal with whatever's left and deal with it in any way you want. because you know you're happy and content that you've taken care already of your future financial health. So whatever money you've got left, because you've paid yourself first, you can do whatever you want with it. And you've done that all consciously. That's the only way to do it. I hope you found Rachel and Phoebe's story helpful to reflect on how you manage your own personal finances. But for those of you who are still here, I do have one more question for you. In the whole "we were on a break" thing, whose side were you on? If you were on Ross's side, hit the like button. If you were on Rachel's side, hit the subscribe button. If no one told you life was going to be this way, then do both. I'll see you on the next one.